Hello? Girl, what page are you on?
It's a baby bell of a time.
This podcast is brought to you by Snacks.
Snacks, 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 snacks.
Ash.
Sorry, I was trying to finish my page. Sorry, guys. All right. Welcome back to Girl, What Page You On? I am one of your fabulous hosts, Ashley Speedreader Parr. I am joined by the fabulous, here for the history, Kayla Collins. And of course, the here for the spice, Sam Shariah. We are discussing the last handful of chapters in Onyx Storm. And I think we kind of need the major warning.
I think that's a spoiler, and I wish somebody had warned me that everyone was supposed to wear Rider Black for this video.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's something a spoiler warning might have helped me understand. um and as I sit here and wallow in my I'm gonna call it my scribe green because there's nobody else that wears green except for infantry. Oh no, I'd rather be a scribe than infantry. Um, so why don't we just go on to battle brief?
Today's battle brief, we are talking about chapters 60 to 66, not 8, of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. You got your spoiler warning. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. Sorry, we're talking chapters 61 to 66. It's 5 chapters. Good Lord, I need to get it together. This book has me like, whew, I can't even focus right now. So chapter 61 to 66 of Onyx Storm, here's your battle brief. Chapter 61, we have a Rhiannon point of view where she is defending the pass with the Griffins. Chapter 62, we go back to Violet, and we get a face-off between Theophany and Violet continuing. Theophany drains the ground around them, and Violet thinks quickly on her feet and hops on a wyvern carcass, which saves her life. Sigale comes and rescues Violet and then tosses her midair to Taryn in a very cool maneuver. 10 badass points to Violet. And Violet decides her last objective in this battle is going to be fly for Theophany. Violet is done. She is on a mission. The next chapter, chapter 63, we get an Imogen point of view where she's battling across the city and trying to get to Quinn. When she gets to Quinn, she finds her battling a venom and she's doing her her mirror imaging of herself. And Quinn gets to her. Quinn kills the venom, but then Imogen realizes the venom also got to Quinn, and Quinn sadly dies. Chapter 64, we're back to our girl Violet. Taryn is now ensnared in a net, and Violet and Theophany are facing off on the ground yet again. Holy fuck, Andarna is back. I've never been happier to see this little Irid in my life. And in a moment of sweet, sweet revenge, Violet kills Theophany as shadows overtake the entire field. Violet knows who this is and in our signet, and she says, I love you down the bond to our guy Xaden. The next chapter is a Xaden point of view. We find Xaden with Sigale, who's also trapped under a net, and we find out that Panchek has been betraying them by giving up intel to the Venin. The Venin kills Panchek's dragon with a dagger, which terrifyingly desiccates the dragon. I just imagine, Wicked Witch of the West scene where she just shrivels into nothingness. Berwyn threatens to do the same to Sigale if Xaden does not channel from the earth. Sigale pleads with Xaden, asking him to not do this to save her. Xaden sacrifices himself by becoming Venin completely and channeling from the ground to kill all the Venin and all the Wyvern in sight, which is why we get his shadows across the entire battlefield. He heard Violet's I love you down the bond one last time before he changed Venin all the way. Very sweet moment. Our last chapter, Violet wakes up very confused in Drythus. She had Andarna at her side with a ring on her finger Nice touch, Shadow Man. With a marriage notarized by Dune's priestesses. And a note from Xaden saying, "Don't look for me. It's yours now. He's gone." Violet is so confused because she would have remembered all of this. She asks how long she's been missing. Turns out she's been missing for 12 hours. And then she turns to Imogen and realizes that her memories have been erased. And that is how we end the third book of the Empyrean series. What do we think? What do we think, girls?
Have you guys seen the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie with Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, and she comes around the corner and he's wearing the Spider-Man suit and she goes, "What the fuck?" Because that is literally what I had going on. Like, I feel like my brain like had like that movie moment of like trying to flip through the book, like, where's the rest of the book? Where's the rest of the book, guys?
I agree. I remember calling Sam as soon as I finished because you were in a game. But yeah, I was very much like, I get it. Like, she likes a cliffhanger. We know this, but this was a little much. I did like Zayden's little touch about she's always noticed that there's a gem missing from the dagger, from his family's dagger, which so happens to be the ring or the gem that's in the ring she's wearing now. And Sam's your immediate response was, "Yeah, she etch a sketch that bitch." And I was like, again. Um,
I mean,
but
I feel for Violet because I also don't remember 90% of my wedding. So, like, I get it. Like, that sucks.
If
it's
you need a recap, we remember really well.
Thanks.
I'm not sure I was at your wedding. I was your maid of honor, and I'm not even sure I was there. I have
It's
yet
like
to
a
see proof.
whirlwind. But I feel for our girl Violet here. Wake up the next day. What the hell just happened?
At first I was trying to figure it out, and then it clicked as soon as she was like looking at her ring, and I'm like, I knew it! I knew they were gonna get married. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why doesn't and then she looks over at Imogen and I'm like, you bitch. But then with Imogen saying, you asked me to do this, you told me to do this,
Yeah.
is like, that was heart-wrenching. I honestly feel probably more for Imogen than I do for Violet.
Okay, well, let's think first. So this is where we're so because we're all very upset about this. When Imogen says, "You asked me to do this," there's two ways this can go. One, she didn't want to remember the hurt of seeing Xaden with red eyes and turned all the way, or did she have Imogen remove those memories in the case that she is going to be tortured or she's going to be put under I don't want to like interrogation, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Interrogation about Xaden and stuff like that. So are we thinking that she removed it because of her Twilight depression? Or are we thinking she removed it to protect Xaden? Also, Xaden couldn't fully have lost all his human abilities if he was sane enough to marry her, because he's been wanting to marry her the whole time. He loves her. We know he hurt her down the bond. So, like, his humanity's still there. So, technically, he's not fully Venom.
I'm leaning
So
more toward the latter. I think that I don't think it's like I want to forget. I don't think that's who Violet is. I'm 100% putting all my eggs in the basket of this is the plan. They got together, they're all together, they devised a plan, and they're like, but I can't fucking remember it because I'm gonna be questioned.
I'm along the same lines, but I'm also thinking Arik saw something, right? And he sent Violet to go defend the priestesses at Dune. Who married them according to the pages?
High
Priestesses at
Priestess.
Dune. And then I'm also like, we got to remember, we know that there is multiple spies in Basgiath, in the government. So Pancheck being one, you know, already, there's one out. But I think that her memory being wiped was to protect the plan.
Yeah.
Though we all know that the plan usually gets messed up at some point and the plan has to go out the window and a new plan has to be devised and then that one goes out the window. So who knows what fourth book is going to hold.
It's the Harry Potter complex.
I think you bring up a good point talking about Arik, because during the battle, what we didn't cover in Battle Brief was that Arik actually shows up to Violet or sends her a note with, I think, a weapon, right? I think
Yeah.
is it a the dagger that she
It's
ends
the
up using?
dagger from it's made from the shards of the temple.
Right, and she ends up killing Theophany with it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Which, yes.
So Arik's note to her says, well, it's from the priestess, but it's couriered by Arik. So he clearly knows, like as you're saying, like he clearly knows there's some need for the priestesses of Dune. But the note says, a gift from one servant of Dune to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it um, to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. Her path is still not set. Yes, ma'am.
So for those of you who don't know, I have my hands raising up because so as I was reading this, it dawned on me that Cam has had foresight the entire time before he entered Basgiath.
No.
It's
No.
well, listen to me out. Listen to me out. That's not correct English. So when he enters, he says that he knows everything. He knows how, like, what's going to happen if he doesn't move, if he doesn't join up. He knows what's going to happen. So is it that he had his signet before? Because again, going back to that excerpt about temples, and I'm assuming because his family is the royal family, that they are somehow closer to the gods, like the priestesses and the riders. Um, but I was just thinking, like that dawned on me. Like, did he have the power before, or did his signet manifest as that because of all the things he knows?
I think it's the second one again. I'm like a fan of your second options today, your second theories. I think he manifested it in the same way that like Xaden had secrets, so he had to manifest shadows, you know. What else? What was the other one? There was a couple other ones where they kind of point out where it's like, oh, it makes sense that you're manifesting.
Yeah,
Or like,
like Mira always is trying to protect her siblings, so hers would be naturally of a shield.
yeah.
So I
That's
think, yeah, I think, I mean, I just, there's so much, like what, like your brain is just kind of overloaded.
Also, we have confirmation from Rebecca Yaros that um Aric's signet of foresight comes after um fourth Iron Flame before Quest Squad. She said
Okay.
that. She said
Okay.
that in one of her interviews for her press tour. So she was like, after Iron Flame, before Quest Squad. So be in the beginning of this book, he gets it. So he knows, but she also said that when he initially had foresight, that he didn't know he was doing it. So maybe there's like he kind of had like stuff at the end of Iron Flame or like in the in between
Well,
where
that
he's
might
kind of
be
getting.
like the dead giveaway too of why he insisted, okay, Holland, you're done. I'm taking over as the royal attaché now.
Yeah.
So okay.
Fancy word.
So he definitely it manifests because of how he knows this stuff, and he knows if he doesn't move, he's not gonna be able to change what's gonna happen. So again, coming back to that full circle, as our family likes to say, um, that it comes back to a need, like his signet forms out of a need, um, to change or adapt to something. Um, so Sam and I had to stop ourselves from having this discussion when I finished the book. So at the very end, it like when we are in Zayden's view, and he's like my brother, and who shouldn't be there and stuff like that. So I sent you all a video today because I was like, oh, what if it's this? Um, and Sam, why don't you say who you think the brother
Okay.
is?
Okay, so I want to rewind for like a hot second and talk about the scene. I want to set the scene as our battle brief or whatever the hell. Whatever. I'm too excited. Okay.
Professor Samantha.
So so the Zayden, right? When we have the Zayden scene, we're getting all of this like weird conversation between him and Berwin, and we find out that Berwin is his sage. So we know that there's some sort of power structure here where you have a sage who has specific initiates. Okay. So we know that Berwin was Jack's sage, and we now have him as Zayden's sage. We also find this like little tidbit of information. Did you all catch it? Where you can't harm your sage. Like there's some weird like magic keeping them from harming him.
It's
Because
the
Zayden's like, I
it's
wish
the
I could
vampire
kill him,
thing.
but I can't. Like I can't kill him. Right? Like the vampire thing. Yeah. You
I
can't
think we
kill who
talked about
turned
that
you.
in a previous
Yeah,
episode.
you can't kill your sire. You kill your sire, it kills you.
Yeah. But then they like Kayla was saying, they talk about the new brother, and they just say brother, brother, brother the whole time. And I read so fast, and I wanted to know who it was, but they don't tell us. I think it's Garrick.
I think
See,
it's Bodhi.
I said Bodhi too. So I don't have my book because I'm lending it to my beautiful friend Whitney, who is streaming through it. Can one of you go to your those pages or the last scene and just go through, and let's go through who's there, because we know that that's a big
We
thing. So by
know we are told to look for who is not there
yes, so I want to make a
by
list of
Rebecca.
who is there.
Okay.
But
So
So we know
I'm just
Imogen.
gonna speed read through chapter 66. Violet, Brennan,
Vi,
and Darna, obviously.
Brennan,
Wait,
Mira. Mira's gonna be in.
Mira. We also see one of the writers that she doesn't recognize is there. Imogen. Mm-mm-mm-mm. The bond between her and Taryn is foggy.
because I think Taryn is having a hard time
Cat.
because it's the gal. Cat.
Yeah. Garrick is missing. Here is why I think it's Garrick, and I knew, right? Okay, so we're on chapter or page 526. This is the end of the page. Among the missing, Brennan answers gently and then glances my way and does a double take. Holy shit, Violet. Oh wait, sorry. Lieutenant Tavis, among the missing, Brennan answers gently. Tavis is Garrick. What? I lower my arms. Garrick is missing too? Who else makes up the four riders Wheelson mentioned? There's four riders missing. Garrick is one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking to see if
Well,
Bodhi's
see,
here.
I'm thinking back. I guess I'm scheming. We love a good scheme around here.
But you're
What if
really
what if Garrick is missing because his job is going to be relaying information between Zayden and Violet, or Zayden and somebody else? You know, because he has that teleportation power. You know?
Yeah. And Kayla, you did bring up the other day in our chat how Bodhi is also missing. There's four riders missing.
Yeah.
Bodhi, Garrick, frick. If it's Bodhi, I'm gonna die. I care more about Bodhi than.
I
I have hope for Garrett That's why I'm like, Imogen and Garrick, 2024.
Yeah, because Garrick knows. Sorry, guys, I have Miss Holly sitting. She just needs a snuggle.
Oh.
Garrick says to Imogen, like, I'm toast. I'm just gonna go see if I can help out somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't think because like he already knows he's close to burnout. So he just straight stops. He's like, I'm gonna go find something else to do. Bodhi would not surprise me because he wants so badly to be just like Xaden. And like he doesn't want to be like Xaden. I'm trying to think of how to word that. Like they're two peas in a pod, but Xaden wants him to take the Duke ship. Like you're gonna be next. And I don't know. I feel like Xaden wouldn't have he obviously loves Violet, which is why he marries her. But I don't think he would have married her and then given her all the power, like the becoming the Duchess and everything like that, if Bodhi wasn't taken out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are right. Oh,
And that's why I was leaning more towards Bodhi because of the same reasons.
I
Because
think, yeah.
that's not something that Violet has aspired, but yet that's something that Xaden was pushing Bodhi to. And Bodhi was like, no, I want to be in the fray with you. Maybe keeping an eye on you kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much like
I only
hate that she left us hanging.
Yeah, she really did. I only bring up Garrick because his name is specifically mentioned as being missing, and he's one of the only ones specifically mentioned as being missing.
I think he's the red
So,
herring.
you think so?
I think so. I think like I said, I think he's going to be the key of relaying information back and forth.
We also find out that it's not just people are missing, but eggs are missing.
4 eggs, yes.
4 eggs and 4 Oh my fucking God. 4 eggs and 4 riders are missing. Do we
Yeah.
think? I don't even want to say this out
I
loud.
thought it was 6 eggs.
4 eggs.
I thought it was 6. I swear it's 6.
4.
I gotta pull the book out again. Do we think that the Venom are somehow trying to are all 4 people missing Venom
See, I
now?
didn't think.
And do we think they're gonna bond a fucking dragon?
I think the eggs were stolen by somebody from an island. I did
Oh.
not think that it was Venom. I think it was somebody took the opportunity from an island to come and steal eggs.
When's the last time we see Arik? Flying south, baby.
Yep. And that's why I was like, wait a minute. Who wanted eggs in exchange for help? And who has the foresight to already be on it and maybe brokered a deal of like, I will meet you with eggs if you come, and meets them south.
Or did Arik see foresight, see the future, and was like, fuck, the only way we save him is if we take eggs and bring them to the Irids to save them and hatch them on this island.
Yeah.
So many different things. I mean, we know nothing. This is so annoying.
And that's it. It's like, I honestly, I think Arik, Xaden, Garrick, I think that there is a spy squad going on. Something.
Yeah, because I'm pretty confident Xaden is not with Baywin. I just have a feeling he's not. I have a feeling that Bodhi, Garrick, and him, and whoever the 4th person is, which is probably Arik.
I was thinking it was
are
Jack.
But Jack's selfish. Jack's out for himself.
But
if he's not taking the eggs to the Irids because the Irids don't want anything to do with fighting. They are perfectly fine letting the Venom destroy everything.
But there is a group that wanted eggs in exchange for helping.
There's
Yes,
6
the
missing
island.
eggs.
There
There's
is 6.
6.
You are right, Kayla.
I was gonna say, I know I listened to
job.
that right.
You finished this book more recent than I have, so good job.
I literally finished this like Thursday night, I want to say is when I finished. And then I called Sam, and which was really difficult because I was just like, ah, and you were at a game. So really
I know, I'm sorry. But I've
I
been holding this in for weeks.
maybe Arik is the one. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to that theory. I wrote it down. I added it to my theory list. I definitely think Arik might have been the one to steal the eggs. I definitely don't think now that we're talking about it, I definitely don't think it's only Venom as a possibility.
Yeah.
Islands could have been there. Anyone could have gone in and swooped in and stole some eggs while everyone else was out fighting. It'd be the easiest time to do so.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, there is multiple possibilities of like Irid, Islander, Venom. Like those are just the big three that we're thinking off the top of our heads.
Plus, the only thing that the Venom, like Fanafa, Fanny, Samantha was trying to teach me how to say it.
Theophany. Theophany.
Theophany. There you go. Theophany. Um, the only dragon that they wanted was, or that she kept alluding to, was in Darna. They just wanted the Irid. They just wanted the Irid. So I think that we are right on the money that, because what the hell are they going to do with 6 eggs? They like, what do they care? They have Wyvern, which will do whatever they want. And the only thing that they're going to do is suck up the power from a dragon, which they can do at any point without being bonded to it. Like, it just
That's
doesn't make
true.
sense for them to have it. So I think we're on the money that it was probably Arik, Cam, who took the eggs going to the islands trying to get help. Or it's Zayden and the band of misfits going to get help, which I still think Arik is going to be. I think it's the 4 together.
Hmm.
So that's my
I think
theory.
it's a spy squad.
Yeah. Spy Squad.
And I
Spy
think
Squad.
that's probably why they wiped Violet's memories. So it's like she doesn't know where they are, what they're doing. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
Especially with Atos. We haven't heard anything. I feel like the second half of the book, we haven't heard a thing from Atos. Because the first thing he's going to do when he hears Zayden's gone is he's going to go get Dane and then force Dane to pull her memories, which he's not going to be able to do because she doesn't have any, because Etch a Sketch.
What did you all think of the Imogen chapter?
I was kind of sorry, I have Gina's by my face right now. I was kind of surprised, like with the change up of Imogen and Re POVs. Like it's in the heat of battle, and all I want to know is what's going on with our MCs. So to have our side girls, it was kind of like, what?
I
And
love Ree, but I also was like, why are we getting this? Do we think there's a reason behind why we got those two specifically?
I think it goes back to at the end of chapter 50 when like she's like, well, she
60.
can. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing it means Rhiannon because it's such her point of view. And then Imogen we get because she's about to etch a sketch, Violet's memory. But to be very honest, I did not see why we needed them at all. I'm perfectly fine with like a swapping view kind of a thing, but I'd rather you swap views for a couple chapters, not just one chapter in the midst of the final ones. Like to me, it was sloppy. And that's just, I guess, my personal preference, but I feel like it's sloppy in the story because we haven't seen their point of views at all. So to toss them in now seems kind of asinine.
well, Rebecca Yaros, because she's on tour and all of her interviews are getting released, recently shared that they cut a ton of POV chapters throughout the book, and they cut them because it was messing with the current plot. So I'm like, okay, so you're saying there's a chance we might get them in the next book? But I just thought it was super interesting that. But yeah, like the last, I don't know if I liked them or not. I love both characters. I don't
You
know.
know what
I
I
was
like to
so
see to
involved.
make that complete? I think I would like to see book 4 open on an Imogen or a Rhiannon point of view.
Yeah. I
Um,
wonder if we will.
I think that I kind of would like to see that.
Or maybe
That's
she's setting us up at the end of this book to like give us more of the different POVs.
maybe.
I
I
did,
wonder if,
however, like Zayden's point of view. I
yeah,
loved that chapter. We were talking about it before. We got him in the Sage Berwin. We got their conversation. We know that there's a new brother, but we also got like some of Zayden's feelings as he was channeling from the earth and as he was changing. And I thought that was really interesting too, that, he could feel himself like not turning to stone wasn't what they used, but it kind of felt like that. Like there's like a solidifying of becoming Venom, becoming soulless. And there was a part where, or he was out on the ice, is what they kept referring to throughout the whole book, right? And did you all notice the part where he was asking, or he was talking about when he heard Violet's I love you, and he says, as he kind of like iced over that one little shard stayed there and was kind of covered or I changed around that. So he has that little piece of humanity left in him and her love. So I think that I don't we're gonna have to see some sort of redemption arc for Zayden or cure for Zayden. I'm predicting we get that in the future, but I thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
have you guys, this might be something that we save for our next episode, but have you guys noticed the cover art? Have you guys lined up the books together?
Yes,
Yeah,
in the line.
The next book is going to be white. We already know that.
like Violet's hair.
Yeah.
Violet's hair
It's gonna
or
fade like
hope,
Violet's hair.
redemption. It's a lot of different, possibilities. But I just was like, oh,
She said she's gonna do 5 books in this series, or
yeah, she's hoping to do five, which sucks for us. Great for
Oh,
her. Love, I
oh,
will support her, but sucks for us. She better have them written back to back and ready to publish them back to back.
well, she doesn't have a publishing date for the next one, so it could be 5 years before we get that one. Because how she writes is she'll do Fourth Wing or the Empyrean. She goes and does another thing. Then she does Empyrean, goes and does another thing, and kind of goes back and forth. So it's probably going to be at least 2 to 3 years before.
Yeah, like I mean,
that's
I
all
get
right.
it. Like we do it, like I do it with my books. I don't know if you guys are similar, but I'll do something more fantasy fiction than romantasy. I try to balance out between fiction and more set in a realistic point of view kind of thing, just to get a break. So I understand that. I'm in dire need of like, oh, I'm hoping, honestly, straight up, I hope the first chapters in the next book is Imogen's point of view of watching them get married, getting an understanding or knowing that there is a plan in place, but not choosing not to be a part of that. And then looking Violet square in the face and being like, "Are you sure about this?" And Violet being like, "Yes, I am sure." I feel like that should be the first chapter we see in the next
Like
book.
we get maybe like a Zayden or maybe we get an Imogen point of view where it's like what actually went down.
Yeah.
I don't know because like we got and like it seems like her writing style has become more and more like there's a plan and it's like cool now we just have to wait to see it in action. Like I like the mystery and I like trying to puzzle it together, but the last battle scene or when they were saving Mira and they were like, "Oh, we're devising a plan, but like we don't get to find out what the plan is." And I feel like there's loose ends to both that part and loose ends to the final battle that we have in Onyx Storm that I'm not sure, I'm terrifyingly not sure when we're going to get that tied up. Like, the first book when we have the reveal that Brennan is there. Okay, cool. Like that was a cliffhanger, but an exciting one. And
Yeah.
then immediately we pick right up there. So like the trend so far has been we pick right up there. So I hope we get some, but I have a feeling we're not going to get the whole picture.
So somebody had pointed out that Rebecca Yaros's book ending is a W. She leaves you high and dry. Then she gives you a high. So we ended with Brennan. She gives you a low. We ended with Zayden being Venom. And now we've got a mid-range of like they're married, but so it's the W. So predictably, the next book is going to end low, very low again. And then the final book will end high in a very high note.
Mhm.
I still think that she had a deadline. She had a generalized idea of where she wanted to go. She had all these ideas, and knowing that she had a bunch of stuff that was cut, I still stick to my guns. I feel like this was rushed. And she's always got a plan. I definitely get that. I know she's got this whole series planned out, like she says. But I think writers also say that in a sense because they don't want to they're always afraid of writer's block and stuff. But I feel like she rushed through this whole thing, and it could just be a deadline issue that she rushed through it, and she may have just produced all these probably great chapters that we never get to see because the editor cut them because the book was 66 pages long plus the additional extras for the bonus books and so on. But I'm with Sam. I feel like it was rushed and incomplete and stuff. But she hopefully in the next book she will tap off like a good iced tea in the summer heat. But we're still suffering here, waiting for the pot to boil.
So do you all have like an overall rating of this book? I know like just this book as a standalone, what did you think of it? If we did it 1 to 5. Did we do 1 to 5 the first two?
I think we did the books 1 to 10,
And then Spice one to
series
five.
one, yes,
Yeah.
and then the spice was a 1 to 5. Well, the
Yeah.
spice in this one was like a 2.
Yeah, 2.5. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 3 for the 3 chapters we got Spice.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this book actually had like more intimate scenes, but they weren't complete, I would say complete or full spice. I think it had like 6 chapters where there was intimacy versus like the other ones were only like 3 or 4 chapters. But those 3 or 4 chapters had very high spice range, very intimate, very, sensual. These ones, they were sensual, but I don't know if I would label them spicy. I think, and somebody had pointed out too of like, um, this book, Zayden's point of view when he is with Violet is almost like a love letter to her.
Yeah.
Like all of their scenes together is very sensual and intimate of
Well, their
like
relationship
showing love.
their relationship is developing. And so they're going from like just starting dating. It's very much like a relationship. You just start dating, everything is new and fun, and we have all these new things that we get to try out with each other. And now it's like, I love you so much. We're getting a lot of those, like you're saying, like more
Yeah.
sensual, more like romantic scenes, which is still spicy.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure spicy.
it's not like whips and chains, which it doesn't have to be. It's still spicy. But I think yeah, 2.5 is where it's 2.5 stars spicy. Do you have a rating for star spicies?
I'm sticking to
Two.
two
Yeah,
and a
I
half.
would say like a 1.5, a 2. Um, but like it was more love than lust. I feel like the
Yeah.
other books were more lust than love.
Yeah. And what about like the overall, like out of 1 to 10, like where just like how much you enjoyed it? 10 being like, oh my God, best book ever, reading this every year, one being like close to do not finish.
I would say probably like a 7 or an 8. Like my reading list, my little star marker only lets me do 5 stars. So I marked it as a 4 star, and I
Okay.
marked it after I finished reading the book, so it's super fresh. So, but I think I rated it that high mainly because I was so happy with the fact that they were married and I hadn't broken down everything with you guys. So, I mean, I'm rating it at I will push for an 8 with the hopes that we get a great ending at the end of the series.
Yeah. Kayla?
I'm gonna barely give it a 5.
Oh,
Wow.
I I just struggled with this whole series. Um, I liked the concept of it. Um, I don't even mind Rebecca Yarros's writing. I just really struggled to get into this series, and I'm so sorry because I know so many people love it, and like I love it. Like I like it. But to be honest, it's like I read it really because of you all, and but I struggled with the last book because I
It's
knew
because
it
you
was going
couldn't pronounce theophany.
Theophany. I don't care. No, I don't know why. I just couldn't get into it, and I wish I could have because I do love Indarna's snarkiness and the banter between her and Taryn, but it's not something I'm gonna come back to. I'm sorry, I will not reread this series.
I would give this my overall rating would be a 7, like a solid 7 for this book. It's not a series rating, it's the book for me. So a 7. I love the relationship building between the friends. I love Quest Squad. I love the new characters. Um, but there were a couple of areas like we were saying before where I just feel like I don't get a good understanding of the characters. Like I literally thought Imogen and Quinn were dating. But they're just besties. And like we get that weird scene where Imogen recalls her first meeting with Quinn. We never it's like it doesn't work if we didn't originally see it. Like the reason Liam's death was so powerful was because we got that interaction. We got to know who he was. Like Quinn, like I was sad about it, but I'm also just like I was sad about it from Imogen's point of view, which was kind of gave me a little more, stake in the game, but I wasn't as connected to her. Like I just feel like when you have this many characters, it's difficult. It's difficult to maintain a reader's fascination with them and love of them. I think we all kind of pick specific characters that we love over others. And I think it is a really challenging thing to be able to develop a character and keep them in the forefront or constantly be recalling, helping your readers recall that. But that was one of the biggest, that's what kind of took away a little bit of the magic for me, honestly, was the fact that you know, we don't get those connections deepened any further. And I was over, as we all know, I was over the broodiness from from the beginning. So that's why, but I did love the story. I think it's fascinating concept. I think it's a beautiful story, and I think that we have a lot of room to grow in it. But yeah, so I'm gonna stick with my 7.
Yeah, it was just like it was a good series. Not like I said, not for me. Not that it wasn't a good series, just wasn't something I clicked with, which made me very sad because like we've discussed before, it's like Divergent meets Aragon, and Hunger Games all in one. And I love like Divergent was okay, but I love Aragon, and I absolutely adore the Hunger Games. So I was very disappointed that it just didn't click. Um, but do
There
we
are
have
parts for me. I mean, I really love this. Ollie, Ollie, can you? Oh, Hannah just walked in the door.
oh, his BFF forever has arrived.
Ollie has thoughts on this book.
I love Arik as a character. I'm kind of glad to see him come forward. Ooh, as I hit the thing. So sorry, everyone. Talk about motion sickness. And it just, I struggled and I apologize.
See, I'm a person, I like the side, at least like if we're invested and given a reason to invest in side characters, I love it. Like, I love book series where each book is a different character's, struggles, relationship conquering, but you still get portions of previous characters coming in. So I mean, that's probably why I liked it. But like going back to like the Imogen and the Re chapters, I need more than that. You can't give one chapter. I think it's a cop out a little bit. Like she kind of ran out of stuff without like she ran out of ideas or she couldn't like hand over that information with Vi and Zayden. So she threw in um, you know, the other characters. So it's just like I feel like Rebecca Yarros, there was some mess up or something. I don't know. I just the ending, like thrilled about the ending, but just kind of stuck on the back end of it, I guess.
I think we could also be feeling like this because we're getting such like a ending. It's like, okay, well, there's something crazy happened, but I don't remember. So it's like it's the way I tell a story. I'm like, yeah, I start off, I'm like, I really know, and I'm like, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Like that's what it felt like. I don't remember what's going
Yes.
on. So I think that's why we also have. I do think that maybe down the road we finish book 4 and book 5, and I feel like the whole story I might rate differently, but I think that we're also a little like I think it's like a little hungover, if you will, like a little book hangover where it's like
We're a little
we
burned
had
out.
all these hopes. I was really hoping, yeah, I was really hoping to get a lot of answers that we just didn't get. Like even some of the stuff we talked about in chapters 30 and 40, it's like, okay, like we don't have those answers. So I feel like that's where my frustration is. But but there's that. Do you all have any last little remarks that you wanted to talk about these 5 chapters or the book or whatever?
I definitely feel what you were just saying just then. And to reference Ashley's burnout, I imagine that this is probably how Violet feels when she can't freaking imbue the the runes on the stones. That's how I imagine how she
Or she
feels.
has to use a conduit. Yeah.
So, but yeah, maybe Sam's right. Maybe after books 4 and 5, when we have the whole story complete and it's like sound and good, maybe, and maybe it is a W effect. Maybe it's just like a plateau. We're getting ready for the horrible drop. But I feel like this was a horrible drop because now we don't know if Garrick or Bodhi is
I
the
think it's a
brother he's
mid-range drop.
referencing. I have been
Like
people seeing stuff about, well, what the brother he's talking about that shouldn't be there is Liam. Like Liam's dead. Like they burnt Liam. Like Liam's dead. Like he's unless they brought him back to life like Jack Barlow.
they burn that
Um,
bridge.
which but that can't be because literally he died in his arm in Violet's arms. Where Jack straight killed his dragon and he lived. So um yeah, and again, I had high hopes for more Jack Barlow because as much as you hate him, you still want to know like what's up with him, other than him floating in a freaking box.
So many theories. I'm sure we're gonna have more coming up. This airs on March 14th, right? Just before St. Patty's Day. Any last announcements that we should be sharing with our crew?
We are going to have a special guest. We're going to do a special battle brief episode with one of our Instagram besties. And so stay tuned for that. We're going to go through all of her theories, all of our theories for St. Patrick's Day special kind of thing.
Nice. We'll talk about all 3 books in the series so far with her. She's got some really awesome theories that that Kayla she connected with her. So I'm really excited about this conversation. It'll be a fun little St. Patty's Day. And then our next book after this that we're going to be reading, so start reading so you can keep up with our speed reader, is going to be Crescent City. We're going to start the Crescent City series. So I started the first chapter and I really am excited. Gina's excited too.
Gina heard the words Crescent City and she's like, yes, my
Croissant?
people.
She said croissant
Crescent
is
City.
chicken. So to our listeners, what did we do here? We did what you asked us to do. We reviewed Onyx Storm.